Hey guys, this video is about progress is still progress, even if it's slow. Sometimes you're like, why am I not where everyone else is? And you're working hard and you feel like nothing is changing. You probably feel a little bit behind. Progress is still progress and progress is not instant. So social media kind of makes progress look like it's instant, but it's not instant. Posts that are made on social media are usually made when the person is at the finish line. So the progress of them getting to that point is not recorded and it's never really documented. So that's something important to know about social media. Nobody posts failure. Another thing to note is that a lot of the times when people post online, they don't really post anything pessimistic or negative. You're kind of seeing like everyone posting like the positives of their lives. Success always takes super long to accomplish. It's not easy, it's step by step. So when you go online and you see like everyone's posting their successes, and it kind of makes you feel like, oh, like never did this, but I wanted to do this and it's taking me so much longer than this person. Then you kind of realize like, oh, well, this person has more experience, or this person has been working on this for years, or this person is older than me and had more time to work on their successes, or this person is just posting the finish line. They didn't post their difficulties, which makes sense, which everyone pretty much does that. Those are just kind of some points to realize when you're like kind of comparing yourself to others. And then, like I said, no one is successful overnight. It takes time. And then comparison is a thief of joy. Just there's no point of doing that. So comparison kind of messes up motivation. So there's no point of comparing. It's kind of like, it's hard not to compare sometimes, but after a while, like, you'll get used to not comparing, and then you'll realize like, oh, like, I have successes too, but it'll maybe take me longer to get the same success that this person got, or I just have a lot on my plate right now, so I can't really focus on certain things and certain aspects of my life. Also make you realize like you have your own path and that everyone has their own path, which nothing is wrong with that. And growth is just not visible. Like, for example, like, it's hard to save money, for example. Sometimes it's hard to learn new things. Sometimes it's hard to build habits. It takes people a lot of time to grow. It's not visible. A lot of the times when people are growing, they don't really post their growth. They post the finish line, like I said before, which is just important to know when you're, trying to make progress and you're comparing yourself to other people making progress and thinking to yourself like, oh, like, why is my progress slower than this person? Well, you will make that progress. These are just kind of like reassuring points to make you realize that. And everyone has a different path, like I said before. And then consistency is key. Like, small habits always help so much. Like, for example, if you're trying to read a book, if you're trying to study for school, you can set a goal like, I have to read 10 pages of my textbook today, or I have to read 10 pages of this book I'm reading, or something for work. Like, try to pick numbers, and 10 pages is a good start. And then you can take a break in between. Walking for 15 minutes is doable. Like, for me, I walk for 15 minutes. Like, it's hard for me to exercise. Building that as a habit, I've built it over time. So now I try to walk at least 3 times per week. I have a walking pad. I literally just scroll on TikTok or Instagram, which is what I do while I'm sitting and watching TV, but I have a walking pad next to the TV now. I walk on the walking pad and watch Instagram. Kind of like similar to me sitting down. Like, as long as I'm distracted from social media, which I watch social media all the time, it will become more doable. It's step by step and it just takes time. Like I said, small habits and consistency helps so much. So just starting small is gonna help so much. For example, if you're trying to save money, save $5 per day, like spend $5 less than you spent yesterday. So like picking small numbers and kind of making your way up, that's what I learned, and that helped me so much over time. Instead of going to the end goal, make small steps to get to your end goal, and small actions like that will get you to your goal eventually. Like I said earlier in the video, don't compare timelines. Everyone's path is different, so there's no point of comparing someone else's timeline with yours. It's so different. Everyone has different opportunities. People have different struggles, so that's important to realize too. Everyone starts at a different point. Everyone has a different starting point too. So when you take into account of all those different factors, you realize, okay, so like even though I'm behind, eventually I will get to that point that the other person is at. And once you realize that, you take your time instead of rushing your time to get to your goal. Another quote that I like is that someone else's chapter 20 can't be compared to your chapter 2, which is such a good quote. And it makes sense because you technically, when you're going online on social media, you're comparing yourself to family members, you see that, oh, you don't realize that, oh, they're on their chapter 20 and I'm still on like chapter 8. I love that quote so much. Celebrate small wins. For example, like I said, I was trying to work out and I'm not really good at working out and I'm not like motivated to work out. I got a walking pad and I just watch Instagram or TikTok reels or TikToks and I just walk on a walking pad. Even for 15 minutes, it's doable because I do the same thing while I'm sitting on the couch. So setting a 15-minute timer, that was doable. And now I can do like 30 minutes. I can even do 45 minutes sometimes, which I was not able to do before at all. So that helped a lot. And that's the small win. So like I said, starting small and then increasing your numbers. So that helped me so much. We were applying to jobs. Maybe you can set a goal like apply to 5 jobs today and then tomorrow apply to 5 more jobs, and saying no to something unhealthy, which I have a sugar tooth. I love unhealthy food, sadly. So I like really sugary iced coffee. I like cake. I like cookies, like anything sweet. No to something unhealthy, especially like a really unhealthy iced latte is a good start for me because usually I drink those all the time and that's definitely an issue I have. One day I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get an iced latte. I'll make my own iced latte at home, and that's a small win. So it's always good to celebrate that and be like, oh, okay, like I did something good today, and be grateful that you did that. If you celebrate your own progress towards your goals, that'll give you more motivation too, because it's like, okay, like I feel better, and you're like giving yourself positive reinforcement for doing that, and that will make you feel more motivated to continue your small habits and just trying every day to get to your main goal by working on like small wins that will lead you to your main goal. Another important thing is sometimes it just feels like you're moving slower than everyone else, and it's always okay to restart and start over and over and over. Sometimes it's good to start over because you realize starting over is better than being stuck in a bad situation or in a bad environment. And sometimes you have to start over, and sometimes trying to get your goal and just trying over and over again is also good. Just like try over and over and see if you can get to your goal. But like I said, if you're moving slower than everyone else, that's totally fine. That happens. Like, for example, for me, I was comparing myself when I would go online. I'd be like, oh my God, this person got their master's degree. Right now I have a bachelor's degree. Like, I've always wanted a master's degree. I'm paying off student loans. Sometimes it feels like you're moving slower than everyone else, but you're not moving slower, like I said. And everyone has different starting points and different backgrounds and different environment, so it really depends, but obviously you'll get to your goal, and you have to recognize progress still needs to be celebrated, like small wins, like I said before. So those are all just like good points I'm kind of repeating. Making slow progress doesn't mean you're failing. It just means your progress is slower and your path is different, and everyone has a completely different path, and it's better to have a different path and like a unique path and then talk about your experience, because if everyone's experience is the same, then that would be really boring. So I think that's also a good way to look at it too. Sometimes people, like friends or even like family, might have comments, but it's okay because either way, as long as you get to where you want to be and as long as you're making progress, that's all that matters. Anyone else's comments doesn't matter at the end of the day, whether it's family, friends, or anyone. And one day when you're older, you'll look back and you'll realize like, oh my God, I made so much progress and those small steps helped me so much, which is something I realized. Paying off student loans, so that's kind of like something that set me back a little bit from my prior degree. And like I said, one day you'll look back and you'll be like, oh my God, the small steps I took before that I used to not really acknowledge, those small steps helped me so much. I wish I appreciated it more. And once you're older, you'll be like, actually, it was good that I took a break because that worked out better for me, and that was what was meant for me, and that's what worked best for me. So when you do look back, you do realize that. And I remember I looked back and I was like, oh my God, I'm glad I took a break. So now I'm more in like a better mindset too, more prepared. I'm more prepared to get to my goal. Progress is progress, even if it's slow. I love that tip so much. much. Let me know if there's any small steps that help you get to your goal. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Bye!